A shadow fell over the village of Rasulpur, India. It was a quiet evening, the kind where the air feels heavy with untold stories and the sky seems to hold its breath. The villagers went about their routines, unaware that their lives were about to be touched by something extraordinary. Not a shadow from a cloud, but a shadow from a story that would weave its way into the fabric of their lives, leaving them forever changed. This was the story of a little girl, barely old enough to tie her own shoes, who claimed to remember her death. Her name was Shanti Devi, and she was only 4 years old, yet her words carried the weight of 1,000 lifetimes. Shanti was not like other children. While her peers played and laughed, she often sat quietly, lost in thoughts that seemed far too complex for her tender age. Her bright eyes held a sadness far beyond her years, a melancholy that puzzled those around her. She spoke of a life cut short, a husband she longed for, and a name, the name of the man who had killed her. The villagers whispered among themselves, their curiosity piqued and their imaginations ignited. Some dismissed it as a child's fantasy, a figment of an overactive imagination. They shook their heads and went back to their daily chores, unwilling to entertain such notions. Others, however, felt a shiver run down their spines. They couldn't shake the feeling that there was something more to Shanti's words, something that defied logic and reason. Could Shanti's words be true? Could this young girl really remember a life lived before? The questions hung in the air, unanswered and unsettling. The villagers found themselves caught between skepticism and belief, between the known and the unknown. They watched Shanti closely, searching for signs, for any clue that might reveal the truth. Shanti's story spread beyond Rasulpur, reaching the ears of those who sought to understand the mysteries of life and death. Her tale became a beacon for the curious and the skeptical alike, a reminder that sometimes the most extraordinary stories come from the most unexpected places. Shanti's parents at first dismissed her stories. They thought she was just a child with an overactive imagination, weaving tales from the fragments of her dreams and the stories she heard from the elders in the village. But as days turned into weeks, Shanti's tales grew more detailed, more insistent. They thought she was playing pretend. But Shanti persisted. She would sit her parents down and recount her memories with a seriousness that was unsettling for a child her age. Her eyes would light up with a strange mix of nostalgia and urgency as she spoke. She described her past life in vivid detail. She spoke of places and people with such clarity that it was hard to believe she was making it all up. Her parents began to notice that some of the names and locations she mentioned were real, places they had never taken her to or spoken about. She spoke of a town called Mathura, far from their village, a place she had never visited, yet she described its streets, its markets, and its people as if she had lived there all her life. Her parents were baffled and started to wonder if there was more to her stories than mere fantasy. She described her husband, a cloth merchant, and their life together. She spoke of their small home, the daily routines, and even the arguments they had. Her descriptions were so precise that it felt like she was recounting events from a diary. One day, Shanti's parents listened in growing horror as their little girl recounted the day of her death. She spoke of a sudden attack, the confusion and the pain. Her parents could hardly believe their ears. How could their young daughter know such things? She described being attacked, the pain, the fear. Her voice would tremble as she relived the terror of that moment. It was as if she was experiencing it all over again, right there in front of them. The vividness of her account left her parents shaken to their core. Then she uttered a name, the name of her murderer. Her parents were shaken. The name was unfamiliar to them, but the conviction in Shanti's voice was undeniable. It was as if she had been carrying this burden for years, waiting for the moment to reveal it. Their daughter's stories were no longer child's play. The weight of her words hung heavy in the air, and the once dismissed tales now demanded attention. They began to question everything they knew about their daughter and the world around them. There was a chilling conviction in her voice, a weight to her words that couldn't be ignored. It was as if she was a messenger from another time, bringing with her the echoes of a life long past. Her parents could no longer dismiss her stories as mere fantasies. The shadow over Rasulpur grew darker. The village, once a place of simple, everyday life, now felt like it was under a cloud of mystery and fear. Shanti's stories had changed everything, and there was no going back to the way things were before. Shanti's mother, overcome with fear, wanted to silence the girl. What if these memories brought danger to their door? What if the man Shanti accused came looking for her? Her father, though skeptical, found himself drawn to his daughter's story. He decided to investigate. He wrote down everything Shanti said, the details of her past life, the name of her husband, the town she claimed to be from. He knew it sounded crazy, but he couldn't shake off the feeling that something wasn't right. He owed it to his daughter, to himself, to find out the truth. News of Shanti's memories spread through Rasulpur like wildfire. Some villagers scoffed, others were curious, and a few, deeply superstitious, viewed Shanti with fear and suspicion. The village elders, keepers of wisdom and tradition, were called upon. They listened to Shanti, their faces etched with concern. Could this young girl be telling the truth? Could she be the reincarnation of someone who had lived and died in a distant town? The elders decided to investigate. A group of them, accompanied by Shanti's father, embarked on a journey to the town of Mathura. The journey to Mathura was long and arduous. The men travelled by foot, their hearts heavy with uncertainty. Upon reaching Mathura, they were guided by Shanti's detailed descriptions to the street where she claimed to have lived. There they found a shop, exactly as Shanti had described it. They approached the shopkeeper, their voices trembling with anticipation, and asked about the woman Shanti claimed to be. To their astonishment, the shopkeeper's eyes widened in recognition. He told them of his brother who had lost his wife, a woman named Luji, a few years ago. Could this be who Shanti remembered being? Unraveling the threads of a past life. In the quiet village of Mathura, whispers of reincarnation and past lives were not uncommon. The villagers often spoke of souls returning to settle unfinished business, to reunite with loved ones, or to seek closure. This story, however, was unlike any other they had heard. The shopkeeper led the men to his brother's house. He had heard the tales of Shanti Devi, a young girl who claimed to remember her past life in vivid detail. Her descriptions were so precise that they had led them to this very village, to this very street. As they stood outside the door, Shanti's father's heart pounded in his chest. Could this be it? Could this be the moment they had been waiting for? The anticipation was almost unbearable. Every second felt like an eternity as they waited for the door to open. Could they really be about to meet the family of his daughter's past life? The thought was both thrilling and terrifying. What if Shanti was right? What if her memories were true? The men exchanged nervous glances, each lost in their own thoughts. The door opened and a man stood before them, his face etched with grief. He was Luji's husband. The weight of his sorrow was palpable, and it seemed to fill the air around them. He had lost his wife years ago, and the pain was still fresh in his eyes. He listened in stunned silence as they told him about Shanti and her claims. Each word seemed to hang in the air, heavy with meaning. Could it be possible? Could this young girl truly be the reincarnation of his beloved Luji? The idea was almost too incredible to believe. Then they brought Shanti to Mathura. The journey was long and filled with a mix of hope and doubt. Shanti's parents watched her closely, searching for any sign that she recognized the place. As they approached the village, Shanti's excitement grew. She seemed to know exactly where they were going. The moment she saw Luji's husband, she ran to him, tears streaming down her face, crying out, "You are my husband!" The words were filled with such conviction that it left everyone speechless. The reunion was emotional, and for a moment it felt as if time had stood still. The villagers watched in awe, witnessing a moment that would be talked about for generations to come. His confession. The villagers watched in stunned silence as Shanti, with uncanny accuracy, identified members of Luji's family. She even recalled details of their life together that only Luji could have known. Under the weight of Shanti's memories and the undeniable evidence, Luji's brother confessed. He admitted to killing Luji in a fit of rage. The villagers were aghast. The shadow of doubt lifted from Rasulpur, replaced by a chilling certainty. Shanti was telling the truth. She did remember her past life. Justice served, memories remain. The news of Shanti Devi's story spread throughout India and beyond. People were both fascinated and frightened by the implications. Could reincarnation be real? Could our souls carry the memories of past lives? Luji's brother was held accountable for his crime. Justice was served, but the memory of Shanti's past life continued to haunt the village. Shanti Devi grew up always aware of the extraordinary life she had lived before. Her story became a legend, a chilling reminder that some secrets even death cannot erase. Life, death, and the echoes of our past. The story of Shanti Devi is a powerful testament to the mystery of human consciousness. It challenges our understanding of life and death, suggesting that our souls may carry the echoes of past experiences, even across lifetimes. Whether one believes in reincarnation or not, Shanti's story forces us to confront the unknown, to question the boundaries of our understanding, and to acknowledge that some mysteries may always remain unsolved. The tale of the girl who remembered too much continues to resonate, a chilling reminder that some stories transcend time, whispering to us from beyond the veil of death.